Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is our part 3 of Tic Tac Toe game that we are going to make using Tkinter because it is silent. So what we have done so far is we have created this interface and added some buttons over here and just the base images to our buttons, right? So for now, if we click any button, it won't change anything to X or O's, right? So let's work on our that function, that is our bclick function, right? So in this function, what we are going to do is we are going to set two variables that are our like you can say global variables, but beforehand let us place it over here so that we can find it in our top of our code. So we'll just say click is equal to like click dot anything true, right? And then we will say count is equal to 0. So basically what these two variables will do is I have like explained it in the last video, but just to recall it, these conditions, like these two conditions, that is click is equal to 0 and count is equal to 0, will make the x move first, right? Like x turns. Okay, so these variables will set our x turns, right? So now after doing that, what we are going to do is we are going to use these uh, variables in our bclick function. So because that variable are not our function scope, like local scope, so we need to make it global so that we can use it everywhere, right? In this function, out of this function, everywhere. Click and count. We are going to set a if condition that will check if the text present in our button, that is like this. So basically what this line of code will do is it will just extract the text from our button. So if you want to taste it, you can just you know make a pass over here. Okay, so over here you can see I have taken button, and inside our square bracket we have our text, right? So this will just print out whatever text, like here it is empty, over here it is empty, over here it is empty, right? So it won't print anything. But for example, let's take a x over here, or we'll say button 1 and control s, and let me run it, right? And if I will press over here, you can see over here we are getting button 1. So basically uh, let me remove it, right? And over here this thing, like this code or this statement, will just extract text from our button, right? So I'll just say over here b, so I don't have to write it button everywhere. So I will set a if condition, that is if b of text, like text from b is equal to empty, like we need it empty for the first turn, right? And then we will say click is equal to true. So basically what this condition will check is the two conditions, that our text should be empty and click should be true, right? So it is our x turn, right? So what we'll do is we'll set the button text to x, right? And we will change the variable to false. So when we are going to change the variable to false, like we are going to switch our clicked variable to false, it will basically does that gives the chance to another player, that is our host player, right? So as soon as the player clicks one button and uh, like its turn is over, right? So we need to switch that player to another player, right? And after switching it, we need to make our count variable. So we will just increment it with 1. So we need this because there are only 9 moves in our games, in our game, right? So we just need to keep track of our moves so that we can have a display message that game is over or you have a tie or whoever wins, right? So now after checking all of our conditions and switching players, we have updated our count variable, we have updated our click variable, and so on. So now the last thing what we have to do is we have to update our images. So how we are going to do it? So to update that images in our which images, let me show you. Over here you can see we have our base images. As soon as we click something or like any button over here, it should update to X button or O's button, right? So let me just clear it over here. Let me save it and then run it. So okay, now over here you can see we are going to use another if condition in our if condition, right? So what we'll do is like if b means button that we have clicked, right? So basically this function will be called whenever we click any button from button 1 to 9, right? Like if we will press button 1, it will call the b click using button 1, right? We are going to pass argument of button 1 so that we get the data of button 1. So here we are going to check the same thing, right? Like if b is equal to b1, so if the function is called from the button 1, then we need to update the image of button 1, right? So we'll just say b1 dot configure, right? In bracket I will say image is equal to, I'm just going to import all our images over here. Like we have imported it from here. So here you can see I have imported all our images. It's our x, the images for x and O's, right? So here you can see all our images for x and O's. So basically like if you want to see like these images on our right or on the left side, there is an extension. If you want it, just comment it down. I will have it in description, right? Now what we are going to do is we are just going to update our image to image 1, right? So we have just configured and set our image to image 1x, and image 1x is nothing but this image, right? This one. So it is basically simple x with a rounded corner because it's the first one. So now we are just going to use elif statement to check b is equal to b2. Then we are going to say b2 dot configure, or we can just search config, but we are going to use configure image is equal to image x, right? So basically you don't have to worry about these things because you see, just import every images that you are going to use it in our project on the top of a code so that you can access it, right? So you can see we have image 2x. So let me just go down over here and the image 2x, right? And I will save it, and I will just copy this statement because we need to do it for all our 9 buttons. So let's run it and see it. Like we don't understand it like this. So here is the main thing, right? So let's see what we have done is your configure. Okay, so here we forget to change button 1, button 2, and button 3, button 4, button 5, button 6, button 7, button 8, and button 9, right? Let's save it, run it, and see it. So still we are not getting anything over here. I don't know why. Let me see it. Because our else statement here in this say pass, right? And let me just clear class over here. Last try. Okay, we check over here if b is equal to text and click is equal to true. text equal to x, click is false. Okay, so what is happening is our condition is not working, because then our text will be x, right? So the condition will be, this whole condition will be false. So for that, what we have to do is we have to make another condition for o, right? So why this was happening is, let me explain you. So here you can see our game has started, right? So as soon as our game has started, we have programmed it like a that the first player will be always the x1, right? So if the first player make it move, then anywhere like over here, like it is x, right? So after that, it won't work, because our condition is false, because we have just switched the player to o. So now we have to do the same logic for o's, right? So I just need to copy this whole thing for the o, right? And then paste it over here. I'll just set text is equal to o, click is equal to false, and then over here I'll just change our, like we are going to just switch over there, switch our player, and the same thing, but I'll just say over here. So nice, we have just updated our images over here. That is, again run it and see it, right? It is working. Like these two buttons are not working correctly, so let us just switch it. So it's our button 3. You know, button 3, we need to set button 7 over here, and we don't have button 7, right? Okay, button 6 over here. Okay, we don't have 6 too. Let me just check it over here. We have button 3o. We want it at ground level, and 4o the opposite level, right? Okay, so basically just set this images according to you. We need b3s 4o, right? And b7s 3o. Let me save it. Let me do the same thing for over here. 3x and 4x. Nice. Now I will run it, and you can see over here we have our game started. Now if the first move will be for the x turns, right? So the x will just press it over here, right? So now we have automatically changed to o's. So basically, if any player, like if the both players are playing, another player which will have this move will be o's, right? So if we say o press over here, again switch happens, and we have x on our move. So we use x o x o x o x, right? So basically o wins, but we have to make conditions for that, right? So let me run it and show you. As I have shown you, like we play like this. But what if a player tries to override a player, right? Like if x has chosen for the this like second button b2. So if o tries it, and it will be updated, like over here you can see. But we need an else statement, so that we can have an, like a message box. We can say else. So this else is for the main, like the main if, that is this if, right? And this if. Okay, we'll just say else message box dot show error. In that we are going to make tic tac toe, right? Say please PLEASE choose an no another some exclamation marks, and that's it. We'll save it. I'll log over here. So what is that? If we run this code, and we get our output over here, like we get our interface. So if we press this button, the error box automatically pop up, right? So again, if we press over here, and again we press into another button, then also it is popping up, right? So to fix this, what we're going to do is we are just going to take this. Okay, so take this if as elif, so that it becomes a part of this if, right? So it becomes if, elif and else over here. So let us save it again, run it. So right now you can see we have our interface. If we press a button over here, we won't get that error box again. Now if we try to override a button, like if you can press that button, so you get that error that choose another box. Like this, we have successfully completed our one function or one functionality of our game, that is updating our players, updating or switching our players, updating our buttons according to our players, right? So in the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to apply logic behind our game, right? So thank you for watching.